Your baby is crying. It's 3 in the morning. The room is dark. You've tried everything and nothing is working. You've changed the diaper. You've checked the temperature. You've rocked and bounced and walked in circles so many times that your feet know the path by heart. And then you open your mouth. You say something, anything, it doesn't even matter what. And within seconds, the crying slows. The small body in your arms starts to relax. The wailing fades into soft little hiccups and then quiet. You probably told yourself it was luck, or that he was just tired enough to finally give in, or that you happened to catch the right moment. But there's something else happening in that exchange, something that researchers have spent years trying to understand, and the more they find, the more extraordinary it becomes. Your voice isn't just comforting to your baby, it is, in a very literal and measurable sense, one of the most powerful biological forces in your child's early life. This video is about what happens in your baby's brain and body when they hear you, and by the end, you're going to understand that 3 in the morning moment in a completely different way. There's a feeling that most new parents carry around, but rarely say out loud. It's not quite doubt, and it's not quite fear. It's something quieter than that. It's the feeling of not knowing if what you're doing is enough. You hold your baby, you talk to them, you sing to them even when you feel ridiculous doing it, and you wonder if any of it actually matters, or if you're just going through motions while your baby exists in some world you can't fully reach. That feeling makes complete sense. Nobody hands you a manual. Nobody sits you down and explains what your presence actually does at a neurological level. So you do what feels right and you hope it's working. What the research shows is that it was working all along, in ways that go much deeper than you probably imagined. Developmental neuroscientist Maryse Lassonde and her colleagues at the University of Montreal have spent years mapping what happens in infant brains during moments of parental contact and vocalization. What they found isn't just interesting. It reframes the entire early relationship between a caregiver and a child. Your voice isn't background noise to your baby. It's a primary organizing force in how their nervous system learns to regulate itself. Before your baby was born, they knew you. Not in the way we usually mean when we use that word, but in a way that is just as real. From around 18 weeks of gestation, a developing baby can hear sounds from outside the womb. The outside world arrives muffled, filtered through fluid and tissue, but it arrives, and the voice that is closest, the one that resonates through the body carrying them, becomes the first sound they learn to recognize. By the 3rd trimester, research from Queen's University in Belfast shows that fetuses not only hear their mother's voice, but respond to it differently than they respond to other voices. Their heart rate changes. Their movement patterns shift. They are all ready before they have drawn a single breath outside the womb, orienting toward a specific person. This is why, in the delivery room, when a newborn hears their mother speak for the first time with open ears and open air between them, something happens that no other sound can produce. Their heart rate stabilizes. Their cortisol levels begin to drop. Their body reads that voice as a signal. You are in the right place. You are safe. What you probably didn't know is that this response isn't just emotional, it's structural. In the first months of life, a baby's brain is undergoing the most rapid period of development it will ever experience. Neurons are connecting at a speed that will never be matched again. And the quality of those connections, the architecture of the brain that your child will carry for the rest of their life, is being shaped in part by the sounds they hear most often. When your baby hears your voice, a region called the left hemisphere, auditory cortex, activates with particular intensity. This is the same region responsible for language processing. Researchers at MIT found that the more a caregiver talks directly to an infant, the more robust the development in this region, and the stronger the eventual capacity for language, communication, and even reading. You aren't just soothing your baby when you talk to them. You are literally building their brain. But there's another layer to this that gets less attention, and it might be the most important one. Your voice regulates your baby's nervous system in real time. Infants are born without the ability to manage their own emotional and physiological states. They cannot calm themselves down. They cannot shift from distress to calm through any internal mechanism. That capacity develops slowly, over months and years. In the meantime, they borrow yours. When you speak to a crying baby in a calm, low, steady voice, you are not just making noise at them. You are offering your own nervous system as a template. Through a process called co-regulation, your baby's body learns to mirror the calmness your voice is signaling. Their heart rate begins to follow the rhythm of your speech. Their breathing slows. Their cortisol drops. Your voice is doing the emotional work that their own biology cannot yet do alone. This is why it matters that you talk to your baby, even when you feel like you have nothing to say, even when you feel exhausted and disconnected and like you're narrating your own life into a void. Telling your baby that you're changing their diaper now, that it's cold outside, that you're going to make some coffee and sit by the window for a while. None of that is silly. All of it is data their nervous system is using to learn what calm feels like. There's a concept in developmental psychology called the still face experiment, first conducted by Edward Tronick at Harvard in the 1970s. In the study, a parent interacts normally and warmly with their infant, then is instructed to go completely expressionless and silent for 2 minutes. Within seconds, the baby begins trying to re-engage. They smile, they reach, they make sounds. When nothing comes back, their distress escalates rapidly. Their entire regulatory system, which was organized around the responsiveness of the caregiver, loses its anchor. If you've never watched footage of this experiment, it is difficult to describe how quickly a baby's world collapses when the voice and responsiveness disappear. What it shows is not that babies are fragile in a worrying way. It shows that they are exquisitely, brilliantly tuned to you. They are designed to use you, and that design is not a burden. It's a blueprint. You're here, watching this, because you care about understanding your baby, not just managing them. If that kind of content is useful to you, subscribing means you'll keep getting it. There's a lot more to cover about the early relationship between parent and child, and most of it will surprise you in the same way this probably has. Because here's something worth sitting with for a moment. When your baby stops crying, the instant they hear your voice, they are not being manipulated into calm. They are not being distracted or tricked. Their nervous system is receiving a signal it has been waiting for since before they were born. A signal that says this specific person, this voice, is mine and I am safe. That's not a small thing. That is one of the most sophisticated pieces of biological programming that exists in the natural world. Your baby knows you at a level that precedes language, precedes memory, precedes conscious thought. And you knew them too, even before you understood any of this science. Every time you picked them up and started talking without knowing why, every time you kept talking, even when it felt like it wasn't helping, you were responding to the same ancient pull they were responding to. The 3 in the morning moment is not luck. It never was. It's the result of months of accumulated presence, of a voice that a small nervous system has been cataloging and trusting since long before it had any other way to understand the world. You don't need to be perfect at this. You don't need to talk constantly or perform warmth you don't feel in a given moment. What you need is what you're already doing. Showing up, speaking, being present in the imperfect and real way that parents actually are. That is enough. That has always been enough. If this video helped you see your baby and yourself a little differently, leaving a like takes 2 seconds and it helps other parents find it. Share it with someone who has a newborn or who is expecting one soon. They don't need to know the neuroscience to feel it, but knowing it does make it mean more.